Hi, welcome to Mom to Wife Plus Life, and I'm your host, Jen. And if you're ready for a whole bunch of rants, lessons, and hot mess topics, you've clicked on the right podcast. So let's dive right in.
About friendship. So the topic is to be a friend. Um, well, to have a friend, you need to be a friend or
Mhm.
understand what that is. Um, so, first, what is your definition of a friendship? Because apparently, many people have different definitions of this. So, what is your definition?
Ma'am, yes, there are, Jennifer, there are different levels to friendship. Listen, like, some of us got associates, some of us got people that, call us their friend, and some of us have friends. So, yeah, it is a definition of it. But, honestly, I would say the people that really are my friends and what I call a friend are literally people that they have to be a part of my life, like living in my life. I need them. Whatever they add to it, whatever they bring to it, if it's just laughter, if it's, going shopping, if it's just to, be there for me in a hard time, I feel like those are people that I need and that they have to be in my life. And I know that I do the same thing back for them. What about you? What's your definition?
So, my definition is pretty much similar to yours. It's basically someone you can call on night or day and, listen to you cry, listen to you want to kill and hide a body, you know, all of those things.
Them some ride guys right there.
Yes. So I go hard in my friendships, and that's why I don't have so many.
Mhm.
But I do have the associates to where
Yeah.
um, I have friends that I can call on, but they're not like immediate people. Like they're just
They
there.
sometimes
And,
they're not dependable. They a little
yeah.
shady, they rocky. I know
Sometimes
what
they're
you
not
mean by
dependable, and
associate.
sometimes they yeah, sometimes they
I
are,
know what
sometimes they
you
come
meant.
through.
I get
Yes.
what you meant.
So that's what for me friendship is. It's basically somebody who's almost like a brother or almost like a sister in that
Mhm.
sense, but you guys are not related. So that's what I define friendship.
Yep, definitely. I would say the same.
Yes. So there's like some key things that I kind of researched and looked up. Kind of added my little tidbits there to it. So I think there's like 7 of them. Not
Mhm.
100%
The
sure,
7
but
principles of friendship,
yeah.
y'all, according
so one
to
is
Jennifer.
so one is to create intimacy, listen and learn, be
Mhm,
authentic, recognize that each of us has our own special talents and gifts, and
mhm.
leaving a legacy, and
Yep.
not to pressure anyone, including yourself. Um, Never manipulate or dominate,
Mhm.
and value.
Yes,
So,
ma'am.
what do you think about those principles?
Well, first of all, y'all, I think that she needs to do an ebook. She got it already ready. So that's number one. Listen, y'all know we gotta monetize that thing. Especially as moms, they need hustles. But honestly though, I think those literally fill the circle, if you will. Sometimes people call it the circle of life, the circle of friendships. Like that literally embodied a lot of things. Like, you want that friend that's gonna give you advice, but not want it to give it to you based upon their own selfish needs, you know what I mean? Or because they want you to do this or that. So they're going to give you an answer that, benefits them because they want you to do what they want you to do. Like, and I know you've had some of those probably as well. Like, you only their friend if you do what they want, and
Guys,
you're not their friend if you don't do what they want. And then they having a whole tantrum tantrum and they 20 some years old. And I'm over here looking at you like, yo, you for real. Come back, Tanya, come back. Woo, it took me back to a situation, y'all. But definitely, and then just the value on it as well. Like something my mama taught me years ago, like she said it and it sticks with me to this day. She was like, some of her friends are people that she doesn't even talk to every day. But whenever she needs them, whenever they need her, like or whenever they call each other, it's like they just seen each other the day before, and telling me that at an early age, because I think I had asked her a question like, "Why y'all don't talk every day?" Like, blah blah blah, and she was like, "So you think the only way we can be friends is if we talk every day?" She was like, "No," and so just knowing that, especially because I don't have children, but a lot of my friends do, and a lot of them, especially during the time when they were babies to like that 4-ish 5 before they were in school, it was a whole situation, and I had to be understanding of it that, hey, I can't talk to them every day or when I want to because hey, they got to put the kids down. They got to, they on their schedule. They need rest, all those different things. And knowing that it didn't diminish our relationship, that really did a lot for me. So, what about you? Like, what about those 7 principles that you come up with? Which ones stick out for you? What really resonates in your past friendships or current
So,
friendships?
so funny thing. When I was writing this down and researching, because I did like 15 websites, and I was like, okay, what's the definition? What's all this? And um, it made me actually question some of my friends that I have in my.
But see, the last time we talked about that though. Like, this is the perfect time to look at and evaluate life because we're on pause and we're in the stillness. So you're just doing one of the things that may have been necessary for you.
Yeah, I've I've literally been contemplating cutting this one friend out for the longest, and part of me has a little bit of guilt for doing it because like she physically hasn't done anything wrong.
Hmm.
um, but it's also it's just I cringe and I'm exhausted every time I talk to her, and it's like it doesn't benefit me. It, and I'm not saying like that to be like selfish or anything, but like when I'm having a conversation with somebody, I want to get something out of it. I want to get some kind of lesson or value or something. Like how we're doing right now. You're probably getting information from me that you probably didn't get
Absolutely.
before, or I'm getting information from you. Um, but it's draining. And have you ever got off the phone with somebody and you're just like, oh my God, I need a nap, I need a drink. She's
Yeah,
one of
yeah,
those. And,
yeah.
this whole thing that I kinda wrote, um, made me question, like, "Oh my god, why was I holding on to this? Why am I still holding on to this?" Um, and it's like one of the things on here, one of the points, um, I think it says, recognize, your good and bad, your faults, your special talents and everything like
Hmm.
that. Um, but she's always a one-upper.
Okay, okay.
I'm just gonna put it out there because I mean I'm gonna cut her off eventually, but she's a one upper. And it's like every time I tell her like, oh yeah, for example, my kid like is playing video games. Oh well, I never let my kid play video games, blah 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 blah. And it's like, great, that's your house.
I'm sorry. I'm not supposed to be laughing, y'all. I'm not. Okay.
But that's your house. That's great. But guess what? She plays video games. I'm cool. She's cool. We're good. Like it's doing nobody harm.
Hmm.
So it's just it's one of those situations where I cringe every time. I'm just like, why did I call her? Or why did I answer the phone? It's like, why do you still have my number? And going through these things, I don't benefit anything from her. And I don't know if she benefits anything from me, to be honest.
Hmm.
And it's like, have you ever had that friend where you're always the listener too? Um,
Hmm.
so there's another toxic friendship. Well, I'm talking about toxic friendships now, but that's another toxic friendship is where you get on the phone and all you're doing is listening. You're not putting your input. You're not having a conversation. You're basically the receiver. That's it. And it's so annoying because actually one of my good friends called me out on it. I guess I was doing it and I was like, "Oh my god, I'm so sorry. I don't mean to just
Hmm.
like blah blah." But I was like, so I have to make a conscious effort to actually be interested in their day. And I'm
Hmm.
so glad my friend called me out on that because if he didn't, I will he probably would have just did this and Goodbye.
Well, I definitely will say, number one, I was like, when you sent me out, first when you sent me the topic, I was like, oh, this is gonna be good. Then when you sent me some of the talking points, I was like, oh, okay, we digging into something that's been on her in her spirit that she didn't even deal with. I was like, okay, we gonna get in. But the things that you said, and I feel like I'll be able to share this because I know that you're a believer as well. One of the things that I always look at when friendships with my friendships is like when you're like you said, when you're feeling like you're the one that's always either giving or listening or you know that I think of the story of David and Jonathan, and literally I I kind of know and realize that because we all go through seasons, there's always a change and something that's happening. The season I may be in, I may be the Jonathan in the friendship, and you may be the David. And then there may be another time in our friendship where you're Jonathan and I'm David. But as long as in the cycle or in the circle of our friendship, we've both been those things or these things that we've discussed and talked as talking points to each other, and there's value. Like you said, when there's a legacy, there's something that's coming out of the friendship, and it's building each other, it's building us and our to be better women, to be better friends, to be better sisters, to be better wives, for those to be better mothers. It has to be something coming out of it, even if we're not doing it at the same time. Because that's something that I also, needed to know as well. Like, and that's how I evaluate things. Like, just because you're not where I'm at right now doesn't mean that you don't need me to give what I have to be there and give you what I have. Because sometimes I may be the example for you in this, but in other areas, you're stronger and you're the example for me in those areas. And so that's how I look at it. That's how I gauge it. But to your point about the one upper, listen, she gonna kill me. But my sister-in-law told me this happened to her. And she was just like, but Tanya, like, no, like I'm tired of this. And I was like, well, it's kind of like what you already came to mind. Like, I had to ask, like, well, what's the value in the relationship? Like, you know, is it something that you're getting? Why are y'all even friends? So I might have to ask you that, Jennifer. Like, why are y'all even friends? Because I'll be honest, sometimes I notice in friendships, your friendships based upon convenience. And I'm gonna give you an example because this is something, and they probably gonna kill me for saying this, but sometimes there's this kind of like expectation that if you and the hubbies are friends, it has to be an expectation of why I'm supposed to be friends too. And y'all caught that? It don't always go down like that. Like I need y'all.
No,
My voice done got a little crunk because you be like, bruh, like it's cool if it happened, but we might not always be able to do that double day because she don't feel me and I don't feel her. You know. And
exactly.
so, that happens as well. And so that's a forced friendship. So, that's why I asked, why are you friends? Like, what is the friendship based upon? Like, what is the mutuality? Not to say that you both have to like the same things, but what do you bring when you both come together to know that this is why y'all are friends? Because if it's not, like I said, another example, I said the husbands, but also church. Like sometimes, or even organizations, like you was on a committee together and it's just the expectation that for everybody to get along, everybody got to be friends, everybody got to be sisters, everybody got to be fam, and you like, but we not. And so that's a hard thing. And so evaluating, like, why are you friends, and are you really friends? I know that sounds a little
No,
tight, but it might be right. That's all I'm saying.
it's true. So I've been literally asking myself that, and the conclusion that I keep coming back to is like we were friends because of our kids. Our kids were friends. So
That's a
it's one of
big
those,
one.
yes.
I missed
So
that one. Yeah.
it's like if I stop being her friend,
And
now
what's
my
gonna
kid
happen
is,
with the baby?
yeah. So there's
They
that.
gonna be mad at you. They ain't getting a birthday party invite. They ain't getting to go over
Exactly.
for the
So
sleepover.
sometimes I just go, be the bigger person, because at the end of the day, this isn't for you, it's for her. Um,
Mhm.
but I can limit my exposure to this mom friend slash associate. Um,
Mhm.
and so it's one of those things where I'm shifting her from a priority friend to
Mhm.
I don't know what to call it, but back burner friend or like not a convenience because I don't want to put it that way, but an associate, as you would say, like, oh yeah, I know her so and so. We talk every now and then, but we're not close type of thing.
Mhm.
So that's where I'm trying to put that friendship at, and I think I'm doing pretty good at that. Um, because I have not reached out to her or texted her or called her or anything. And I think she kind of got the vibe a little bit. I know. So she has not been calling me and texting me, but she also has that point where I don't think she gets it yet because and I should just be adult about it and be like, hey, let's just not do this. But then that can have a whole negative impact depending on how she takes it. So
Mhm.
that's that. um, but she calls me. She's the type of person who doesn't really text and say, "Hey, what are you up to?" before blowing up my phone with 5 missed calls.
Mhm.
Like why? Is it what's important? And it's usually nothing important, and then it's just her like needing to
Then
tell me about they didn't have the right nail polish at the nail salon that she went to, or something
mhm.
so minor to where you didn't need to blow up my phone for that. You know what I mean? Like,
But you know what?
so
So Imma say this, Jennifer, like, I think that's also a major thing, and I know people look at me crazy when I say this, but I think also to be a friend, you may need to actually explain to a person. Y'all know that I'm sure everybody knows the infamous Cynthia Bailey Nene Leakes friend contract. Like everybody knows that. But all jokes aside, like I feel like in some degree, like you need to communicate the type of friend you are and the type of friend you expect. Because real talk, listen, they know that the real ones, the day ones, they know. Taya will mess around and not if she don't feel like talking to you, it's
yeah,
not nothing against you. She just not gonna answer her phone. She not gonna text. She not listen. But
yeah,
understand, and I tell them, and I get them the thing. If it is a 911 and you absolutely need me, you know how to get me, and they do. They know. Listen, they will track me down through my husband, through my mom.
yeah. That's
But
true.
they know, like, they know that about me, like, hey, because I think I talked to you before when we did the IG live, like, I have chronic illnesses. So some days, I'm not gonna lie to you. If I'm in excruciating pain, 9 times out of 10, my attitude not gonna be best. And so I don't want to be rude. I don't want to be mean. I don't want to say
So
nothing
you
that
just
I
cut
have to
yourself
take
off.
back.
Yeah,
So yeah, I probably won't answer the phone. And so they know that. So that's a big thing. Like you have to communicate. Like they know, hey, Tanya can get sick. Tanya can get sick. We know that about her. She can have flare ups. We know that. We know sometimes that she could just need rest. And it's cool. Like, and I communicate that, and and they know, and vice versa. And so I think sometimes we don't gotta go as hard as Cynthia did with Amy, but we at least have to, in some degree, let
have a
let that
conversation.
person know what type of friend we are and what we want or what we need in return. Because a lot of times that's where a lot of the fights come from, the misconceptions, the she coming for me, y'all all over here on Facebook or Instagram having a Facebook Instagram war. Have you seen them, girl? I have seen them. You be like literally, one of them be on their page going, and another be on their page, and you be like, they talking about each other.
Exactly.
And that's not even called for. Like we don't have to do that. We grown, and so I just think we just have to do as much as possible. And I know sometimes, when you're upset or it's just sensitive, and you don't know how the person is going to take. I know it's hard, but it's better. It's easier in the long run,
Oh yeah.
because and I'm gonna add this one more thing about what you said, about that friendship you had. I think for me, I would say, and I know once again, folks sound crazy. I would say instead of a friendship, I'd like to have a relationship with that person. Because to me, those are two different things. And
Yeah,
I'd be
it
like,
is.
no, I have a relationship with them. Like I work with them, or I do this with them, or blah blah blah. We have a relationship. Like there's some common ground to where we meet, but we not tight. You know, and that, like, 'cause they know, like, it's the difference if you get one number versus another, or if you get the email versus another, like, they know, like,
Yes,
you
they
and
know, which kind of brings to the point of the first thing I said was create intimacy. Um,
yes.
so this happens, but then it doesn't need to stay. So when it means to create intimacy, it means that like it's kind of like dating. So like what you said, coworkers, this relationship,
Mhm,
um, it's like when you're dating, the first thing you do on a first date is you ask questions and you share your history and you kind of see where you bond at.
mhm.
And that one saying is, sometimes they might be in your life forever or just a season.
Uh-huh, you know it.
So sometimes you're only meant to like have that person or that friendship or that relationship
Mhm.
for a month or two, and that's it. Um, it's kind of like staying in a bad relationship. You stay in it too long, eventually you're like, ugh, like, why am I still here? Why am I still dating this person? Everybody's looking at you like, you're not supposed to be with this person, right? And
Mhm.
that's how people look at some friendships. And um, the the thing is like when you're doing that, it kind of reflects on you and how you are perceiving your friendship values to other people that want to be your friend. Because it's like, oh, if you're
Wow,
just
that's
gonna
deep.
have yes, have people um just kind of stay in your life forever when they're not supposed to,
Mhm.
like what does that say about me that I'm trying to be your friend, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it's like what you said, as far as it relates to intimacy, like, there's something that pulls you guys together, but it's also something that keeps you together, and when that thing that was keeping you together isn't hitting anymore, you know, and it becomes, I know my mom and daddy would say when it comes to marriage, like, relationships or even a situation, you know when it's time to go, when you literally everything falling apart, like this, like you getting all these type of signs, it's kind of the same thing, like when it's not hitting no more, it's not hitting no more, and the intimacy isn't there. But that's also how you know that even if it breaks, but you guys still know that you are supposed to be friends because there's more in the relationship. That's also how you guys can work through it. Like, that intimacy is also what keeps you and to be able to work through things when stuff comes up. Like when arguments come up, when you don't see eye to eye on stuff. That intimacy is what gets you guys back to your one, and to be able to, girl, I wasn't, you know how I be tripping. I know you do be tripping. You listen. Don't be just coming for me. You know, you did this too. Yeah, you right. Like, that's how y'all can bring you back, because that intimacy is why y'all are together. But that intimacy is also can explain why you need to go and go on. And like you said about the seasons, sometimes in that, it may have been y'all were literally only friends. And I'm gonna have to drop my talk on purpose for a particular purpose, because that person exposed you to a new opportunity, or showed you something new, or introduced you to somebody else, or something, like it was for a particular purpose. And I think a lot of times people don't get that. They, like you said, they think they're supposed to be friends forever. No, it was a particular purpose and reason why y'all connected for that season, and the purpose is fulfilled now. Now it's
Yeah.
time for the next thing. So absolutely,
And
intimacy
sometimes
is
you
key.
know it. Sometimes it will present itself because you have that friend in your life and you're like, "Oh, we were tight, we were homies, we were hanging out, having lunch almost every day." And then all of a sudden you don't have that anymore. You're not doing that anymore, anything like that. So, um it's okay, we can but continuing with friendships. So another point that was on the list was to listen and learn. And I think we kind of dived into that a little bit. And, sometimes you do need to learn from your friendships and you need to
Mhm,
listen. Um, but you also need to be heard as well. Friendship is a two-way street. It's just like marriage. It's just like relationships. It's just like dating. You don't give, um, and receive, and vice versa. Then what is the point? Like you're not learning anything, and that goes back to the seasons. Sometimes you're just meant to learn that little bit and go. That's it. um, so what it says is to be respectful and value both yourself and others by recognizing that each one of us is a unique human being. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes that's true. I'm not supposed to be like Susie, I'm not supposed to be exactly like her. We're supposed to be a little bit different, but similar. That's why it brought us together. And a lot of people don't understand that. You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
No, I mean, exactly right. Like a lot of people expect everybody in they little clique, they all supposed to have they hair the same way. They all supposed to rock stilettos. They all supposed to have Louis Vuitton purses and do this and do that and be married with 2.5 kids, a picket fence, like everybody. And if you and if you try and come in and you don't fit the demo, then no, you can't get it in. And so like that's crazy. Like you said, that's some of the best friendships are the ones where the person is absolutely completely different from you, but their differences is what make up the uniqueness of your relationship. And that literally a lot of times is they can see in you what you don't see, and you can see in them what they don't see, and y'all can be there to be that person that loves that and listens to that, but also calls it out. Like that's a big thing. Like listen and learn. Like you can't be the one that always want to tell this, but then when your friend trying to tap you on your shoulder and be like, hey, like for real,
Get it
and you
together.
and you and you and you don't ever want to listen. Like no, it's a two-way street. Like if I can come for you, you can come for me. I'm just saying.
Yes. Um, and that's what one of my best friends we do to each other. And sometimes, he'll call me like a day later or two and be like, Jen, you were right. And I'm like, I told
I didn't
you
I
because
never said that we was gonna receive it day one, never said that. We might roll our eyes and be like, "Okay, bye, I don't talk to you no more." But we'll come back like,
we'll come
"Friend."
back. Yeah. But see, I'm more like outspoken now as an adult, and my best friend isn't. So when I like say certain situations or I stand up for myself, like I remember one instance, I think it was at the DMV or something like that, store or whatever. And I literally told him, I was like, example, I was like, something about like, oh yeah, and I just didn't let her just say whatever she wanted to say to me. I let her know, like, either say it now and you're gonna catch what I'm about to say to you back, or you're gonna shut your mouth and sit.
Where my
but
prayers at, y'all? Where my prayers at? Okay, clutch.
but sometimes like you have to stand up for yourself. And so my best friend, he's more polite about it. And I'm like, sometimes that don't work. And so when he had to actually finally like boost up, he was like, dang, maybe I should speak up more often. Maybe I need to. I was like, yes, because, and vice versa. Sometimes I get too hype and too extra, and he's just like, you need to chill.
I mean, but what you're
and
pointing out is the like communication. Like sometimes the only way for you as a friend to receive it is for it to come a certain way so that you can actually hear their heart and you can actually like interpret it but also receive it and vice versa. So that's just a dynamic that you guys are like coming together and understanding in your relationship. Like, hey, Jen needs you to boss up and really tell her what it is. And then he needs you to come down a little bit, Jen. Talk to me here. I don't need you there. Come here. So, but that's even the more, group, they call it group dynamics. That's when you start to see more of the person and understand how they will receive what you're trying to present and share and give to them. So yeah, y'all are
yeah,
learning it.
yeah, and I value that he's totally different, and he's unique in his own way. He's not trying to be me, and I'm not trying to be him. So I'm not trying to change him. So when you do have a friend that's like, no, you shouldn't do that, or you shouldn't do this, or you should be like this, or you should be more polished. I'm like, we're not friends. This isn't gonna work.
I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry. Okay. Okay. She's like, it's not gonna work.
Not gonna work. It's just not. So, but yeah, because it's not who I am. So it's like I can be like that sometimes in certain situations, but you're asking to be like that for me to be like that all the time. That's not gonna work. It's not.
But
That's
that
not a friendship.
that brings up the point where you had about you have to be authentic. Like friendships are literally where, listen, you get to pull that hair down, you get to pull the wig out, they need to know what you got. They like literally that's where you can just be you and put it all out. And you should not feel ashamed to be able to do that. Like those are some of the dopest, realest ones. Like that you have to be able to be authentic because when you're not being able to be able being able to be authentic with somebody that you calling your friend, that might not be your friend. Like that
Mm-mm.
might be an indicator. Like if you can't be
Yep.
your real self around them and with them, you have to always have your makeup done. You have to always be prim and proper. You have to always have your kids on point. They can't be screaming at the restaurant. They gotta always have their stuff together. That's not cool. Like I had a friend like that. Like she would be so overwhelmed and stuff like that, and I would be like, "Girl, excuse y'all, I'm about to say something." I be like, bump them. Like, listen, you got two whole kids under 5. Listen, forget all about what they talking about. You trying to make it. And if I'm here and I can help you, then that's what we gonna do. But don't be sitting here worrying about what these folks
Judging me.
think. Like,
Yep.
no. And that's
Exactly.
authenticity. Like you have to have that in a relationship. You have to have that in
Yep.
friendships.
Which is our next point is just being who you are, being yourself and respecting yourself, and you'll find others like you. Um, there's nothing worse in a friendship or relationship than feeling that your friend is so high maintenance. That's not me.
Like that
I'm
girl
not one
she
of
was
those.
like, yeah,
I'm
y'all
not one of
remember her
this
earlier
right
in
here.
topic.
This is high maintenance. This is high maintenance. And if you think this is fancy and done up, I don't know what's wrong with you, but this is literally Walmart makeup. Okay, my hair is pretty nappy back here, and like I literally flat iron this, and that's about it.
What? You mean to tell me you didn't go to Nordstrom's to go get that specialty makeup that's $50? You
No,
you shopping at makeup at Walmart? Like, don't come at me like that. Like for real. Like
exactly,
let me be me. Let me be me.
exactly. So just don't try to be somebody that you're not to get friends because that's one of the lessons that we learn, like in high school. Don't follow your friends and don't try to be like others. Be yourself. Don't follow the sheep. If your friends jump off a cliff, are you gonna jump with them too? No, but I'm gonna look at them and be like, you guys shouldn't have done that.
She just quoted my mama. My mama used to always say that if Johnny jump off the bridge, you go jump off the bridge. I'm like, why are we talking about bridges? Like I would be like, wait, what? But it's literally that. Like you don't need to be like everybody else. Be yourself. Like that is the thing. And like you said, we should have learned that in elementary, middle, high, but it is still some grown folk today, still grown women on Bravo and VH1. Did I say that out loud? But yeah.
It's okay. It's okay because I watch those shows and my husband literally tells me, he's like, you wish you would want to be like one of them. I'm like, no, that's teen too much. First of all, that requires a lot of work. It requires a lot of pettiness. I just don't have the energy for all. I just don't have to be perfect all the time. I want to be able to take off my bra and no makeup, sit there, maybe pick my nose, whatever. I don't care. I just want to be me, you know?
See, folks don't even understand that when they got a little bit up top. They don't understand what the love, the relief is about that whole that takeout situation. They don't even get it. Don't get it.
No,
It's a whole life.
nope.
It changed your life. When you blessed with too much, it changed your life.
Yeah.
You're like, "Oh
Which
God, oh,
which brings us to our next point is like recognize that um, each one of what you bring to the table or yourself, you have a special talent and special gifts. So um, now that I'm fully getting back into the church and doing things like that, I'm looking for people who are doing the same thing. I'm not going to surround myself with people who are not doing that. So um, my special talent is I like to talk. I like to share stories.
she was
I
like,
mean,
oh,
for
y'all
real
thought it
though.
was gonna be something different." No.
No, I like to talk. I do. I like to talk. I'm very competitive too. So um, I guess that's a special talent because I don't look at it negatively. So there you go. um, but a
She
lot of
play to
people
win,
hate
y'all. She
that.
play to win. She play to win.
I
You and
do.
my
Like,
husband would get along. I don't fool with him with stuff. I'd be like, "Listen, you too serious. It's not even that
yeah.
necessary. You just don't want to get in this game." No, Jen. If y'all go play. You and him go play.
Oh, I'm that person that's yelling at the TV or like we went to a thing where my husband got recognized for a Wounded Warrior project, and he got the basketball signed and everything. And we were watching the game, and I don't really like basketball, but I got into it,
You
and I
liked
was
it
like,
that bad.
oh my god, why are they not passing the ball? What is wrong with this person? And my husband just looked at me like, what's wrong with you?
He was like, "I didn't even know you was in the game. Like you in the game, sis? You in the
Pretty much. That's why I don't really watch sports with him because I know if I actually pay attention and I get into it, he won't like me.
But your friend has to know that about you, and she
Yes.
can't, and she has to respect it. She might not like it all the time, but she be like, "Y'all, that's just her. Leave her alone." Like she gonna go ham, but I know her heart. I know her heart. She just
Yeah,
want to
I
go
was
ham.
that person,
She
like,
want to go ham
we
for
were
me. That's
clubbing. Yeah, we were clubbing, and people were like, "Oh, I'm so scared to go talk to that guy." And I'm like, "Watch, move. Let's go."
oh my god.
Like,
Okay,
because I
okay,
know you're just gonna talk
okay.
about it all day long and dwell on it. Let's just get this over with. Let's just go. Like,
Oh, yeah, she would play a matchmaker. Okay, I got it. She that friend, y'all. She that friend. But sometimes you need that, like for the one that they aren't, like they need. Sometimes, like I said, some of the most different and unexpected friendships happen from the differences that each other brings. So you might have been that way in that area, but that same person was what you needed in another area. So yeah, like you have to appreciate the differences. It brings the trueness of the relationship out, and that's where you are
yeah.
able to value even the more because you
Yeah,
help
that's
them
how
get a boo.
like, I
She helped
explain
y'all
it
get a
to
boo.
people. Maybe, I don't know, I'm not 100% like matchmaker, but, it has worked out. But, like, I use the example all the time for, like, people who are like, "Oh, I don't understand," or something like that when they come to me with a problem, and I'm like, "My husband's my friend." Why? Because I'm more aggressive and more loud and outspoken, he's more reserved, calm, and we balance each other out. And sometimes that's what a friendship needs. They
Hmm.
need a balance, a yin and yang type of situation. So,
Yeah, because it's hard when y'all both can go 10 at the same time.
oh,
That ain't what nobody want. Mm-mm.
that's a recipe for bad.
We gonna make it on Bravo when we do that.
Okay. And then which brings us to the next point is like leaving a legacy. So um I like to when I have conversations with my friends to point something out or to shed a light on something that they're going through. It's like, hey, maybe you should handle it this way or handle it that way. Um, kind of change their perspective, their life. I know my friends do that for me. So I kind of hope that they like that I do that for them. But, sometimes they take what I say and pass it along. Um, and that person passes that along. So it's kind of like a ripple effect. So, what do you think about that?
I definitely like, like you said, when they're able to listen to your heart about something or about what they're going through, and they apply it, and then they can give that same advice to somebody that may be going through that something similar. Literally, you are passing on knowledge that is going from not just one, but you're reaching many, and that is the goal. Like your friendship is multiplying, not necessarily in friends, but in value and in purpose and in reach. And so that's definitely great. Like when you can do it and they can do it. Like, hey, yeah, my friend told me I was in a particular situation. She pointed this out. I didn't even see it like that. And so maybe you should think of this that way. And maybe, and then they like, you know what? Your friend was right. Like, I know many of us have had that happen where I might not be friend with your friend, but some kind of way we've heard of them because gave them advice or something like that. So definitely, that's definitely a way to leave legacy and to leave your mark and imprint. And then also just sometimes just some of the things that just come out of the friendship, like you guys, maybe partner to sign up to do a 5K or charity or volunteer. Like you guys are literally leaving your mark, the essence of who you guys are as a team, as a couple, if you will, but you're leaving that in so many different areas because your heart connects on certain things and you're able to do it together. And that's another way as well to leave a legacy with what you guys have together as a friendship.
Yeah, and then another point to add to that is find friends with common interests, passions, values. So, like what I said earlier, I'm getting back into the church
Hmm.
and doing volunteer work, church groups, things like that. So, for me, I need to look for friends that kind of have those same values. I don't need to look for friends that don't have those values because that's not what I'm about right now. And that's not what my season is. Let's put it like that. And, you know, if you don't have friends that support your passions and your interests and things like that, then they're not your friend because that's what friends do. They uplift each other, they support one another regardless of how they feel about it. They can be like,
Yeah.
that 5K probably not a good idea, but you know what? Go ahead and do it. That's all
I'm
on
gonna
you,
put 20
Go
on it. I'm gonna put 20 on that charity.
exactly. So that's just something that I kind of wanted to point out because a lot of people forget that, like, um, just because we are friends doesn't mean I have to like the same things you like, but I can support it. I can
Yeah.
support you doing it.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And even if they don't like it, still can ask you about it. Hey, how was that? They can show interest. They can bring in accountability, especially when you're talking about back in the church, like, and getting, they don't have to, but they have to respect it and have to at least recognize it. But then those that are on the same page, that helps bring in that accountability aspect of friendship too, which is also needed.
Yeah. Which is let me point this out because I do have church members that listen to all of my podcasts and things like that. So I actually got this idea from my Rise Up group, community group in the morning. We ended it, and someone was like, "Oh, um, to be a friend is to have a friend is to be a friend." I was like, "That's good." And then I was like, "What is?"
That's true, though. That's true.
that little, I mean, literally, she said it, and then she cut off her screen, and I was like, I want to know more. I'm like, what? I thought she would talk about it more. But I was like, that's a good message. And that actually stuck with me for a whole day. And then I messaged you about it. I was like, you know what? We're gonna do this. We're gonna talk about this
Mhm.
because it's here.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like sometimes people ask for all these things and want all these things, but for it to manifest, you actually have to be it first, and then you can open up. You have to start giving, and then that's when you can start receiving. But you always expecting to receive it and not give it. No, it might not work that way. It usually doesn't. So yeah, absolutely. To be a friend, to get a friend, you have to be one. To get a friend, you have to show yourself friendly. That's what they used to tell me. They be like, "Yeah, show yourself friendly. You got to act like you want some friends. You got to be
Yes,
approachable."
take that resting face and smile it up a little bit.
Absolutely. That was just a little extra for y'all. Extra, extra. We gave you a bonus.
Bonus, yes, love it. So the next point is not to pressure anyone, including yourself. So I learned this a long time ago.
Hmm.
In relationships, people react to pressure by either shutting down or withdrawing from the source of their pain. Um,
Yeah.
so brings me back to the point where if you can't talk to your friend about tough situations and hard things and hard times without that person not uplifting you or supporting you or like, you know, kind of going through that pain with you just for the moment, um, that's not okay. um, you also have to be able to express those things in a friendship. I know I've cried so many times. I've literally called my friend at 3 a.m. and I was like, I can't do this no more. I've literally been that friend. Was he mad that I called him at 3 a.m.? Yes. But did he stay on the phone with me and ask me why I was crying? Yes. So that's fine. But if you don't have friends like that, then do you really have a friendship?
Yeah. I mean, you have to know, you know, I mean, I hate to say it like this, but like if it's like major, you know, you have to know that they can come to your, your rescue if need be, like that
Rescue.
they can be there for you, because if I'm not saying that they're your savior and king, no, but if there's like several times when they continuously let you down, they continuously aren't there, but you show up for all they kids stuff. You show up for everything that they speaking at, and you over there armor bearing and doing you doing everything, but they don't never show up for nothing in your life, like zero. You, I'm just saying, like,
Right.
so that's an indicator as well, because it's that balance, and that's where you, like you said, need to have a conversation, like, are you mad at me? Like, that's a whole nother that'll mess around be part two. Like, you have to talk. You got to, you got to. I ain't even gonna
Yes.
start because we'll go into and we wrap it up. So yes, ma'am.
No, it's okay, it's okay. But the next point was to never manipulate or dominate. So, like, no bullying, all of that. It's just, you know, remember you can't control other people's actions, and that's a hard pill to swallow for a lot of people.
Especially
um,
when especially if it's that friend where she been with somebody that you don't like, you don't do it right, da 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 da, and she come crying to you every time, and you tell her leave him alone, and she go back. Hey, you can't.
yeah,
Oh, look why Jennifer got in. She like, girl, this my life. Listen, you can't control them. Like you can love
I
them
know.
through it, but you cannot control them. You can't make them change their mind, and that is one of the most difficult things to do. And I'm gonna tell you something else as well, especially I'm about to hit some married friends in the head with this. You also have to be able to be that one to separate the friendship from the relationship. Meaning, if y'all are all friends and she confides in you about some things going on in her marriage, but she don't leave her marriage when y'all around each other, don't be coming for him. That is not. That's sis.
Mhm.
No.
Yep.
I say I had to
Yep.
pull some coattails. Like, no, whatever she shares, that should be confidential. That should be between y'all, and no residue. You shouldn't be treating him different. You shouldn't be acting like, oh no, no, sis, don't do that. That's not your place. You can't control what she decides to do. You can be there. You can be a shoulder. You can be advice, but that's it. That's your only lane. I had to get it. I'm
Yep.
sorry. Back to you,
No,
Jen.
it's okay. It's true. It's so true because um I've had a lot of friends that have done that, and it's like now I can't be your friend. I can't be around you. I can't go to this function because I know that you have went outside the friendship circle, aka the
Mhm.
sisterhood, let's put it like that. Um, you went outside and you told what the conversation, or you see it now these days where people are in a group chat and people screenshot, and then next thing you know, they're like, "Hey, you know what your wife said?" Or, "Hey, you know what your husband said?" It's like, why? Why can't you have that confidential and confidence in somebody without the whole world knowing? And
I
um, it's super annoying. I can't. I'm not gonna even get there, but Yes,
That's why I said we
I
mess around with our
complete
part two.
I completely agree with that. We're gonna do part 2, probably maybe next week. But also, I think the last point is to value your friends.
Mhm.
Authentic friendships are gentle. Well, not gentle, but it says authentic friends value your friendship and treat it gently. A true friend is someone that you can count on to be in your corner, whether you're right or wrong, which kind of goes back to all of our points that we've kind of made throughout this
Absolutely.
video. Um, if you can't have a friend that's going to stick through you through the good and bad, just like, like a marriage, like the friendship contract between me and Cynthia. If they can't stick with you through the good and bad, then that's not a friendship. That's not a relationship. That's not even acquaintance because that at that point that's a coworker. That's the one that's like
Mhm.
snitching on you and telling on you and things like that to the boss and can't have that.
No, you're right. I mean, the value of friendship is kind of what you even said. Literally, sometimes the friends become closer than the brother, than the sister, than the family member. They stick closer than a brother, or a sister. And so, they literally, they might not say it in front of everybody that you was wrong, but when it get back between you and you, girl, you was, why did you, I'm told but they're not gonna front you out. They're not gonna call you out in front of everybody, But they still gonna do that what we talked about, that correction, that accountability. So yeah, absolutely. Like that's the value. You bring something to the table, that other person brings something to the table, but you build legacy. You don't manipulate, you don't control, but you have something, and it's rare. That's the beauty of real friendship. It's rare. It doesn't just come every day. And that's why we can literally, I know we joked at the beginning, but that's why we can literally say that there's levels to friendship. There's different types of the friendships. There's associates, there's acquaintances, there's people that I just know. There's relationships just because of what we connected by. And then there's actually true friendships. Then there's besties, there's BFFs, there's sisters. And so it's true because it's so rare to get to the level of all of what we talked about in those points to actually experience it because it's beautiful. It's beautiful. And it doesn't happen all the time. And honestly, it doesn't happen overnight. But it's something that when you have it, you work on it, you keep working on it, good, bad, through the end, and you solid.
Right? I completely agree. Um, I will be cutting some friends off after this conversation.
I did not tell her that. Disclaimer. I gotta let you know. I did not tell her that. That is not what I said.
No, I know. But this conversation, and when I was researching this conversation, like I said at the beginning, it made me really question a lot of friendships that I do have and um, possible friendships that are occurring. So I gotta like kind of do the friendship test and be like, are you there for me 100%? Can I call you at 3 a.m.? you know, um, and I don't tell my business everywhere. So those are those are things. We talked about toxic friendships. We talked about good friendships, and we talked about a lot. but we I think we hit on some good points, and so for some people
Yeah.
to actually go away and
Mhm.
um, you know take some notes and be like maybe evaluate their own friendships that they have in their life right now. We're in a pandemic, and honestly, I have literally said, if you haven't called or texted me or checked on me, then you're not a true friend. So, I mean, we have nothing better to do besides sit at home and look at our phones all day and watch the news and do projects. So, it takes 2 seconds to send a text. Um, I do voice texting, so it takes me 1 second. I don't even have to do this. So, for me, if I'm putting the effort, I expect the effort back, and I honestly want the respect and the honesty and the anticipation, whatever that word is. I can't talk right now. I smell food, so I'm hungry.
I'm done.
but
She's like, friends,
Yes,
bring food, bring food. If you're a friend, food. Listen,
food.
and the best stuff.
Yes,
The best stuff.
and find out like your friend's favorite things. Like for me,
Yeah.
I love tacos. You bring me tacos. My husband knows this. You buy me tacos. We are having a good day.
Taco Tuesday every day, okay?
Yes, with a
I
margarita
hey,
on
but
the
that's
side.
good. That's true. Like you ought to know, and you know how you used to do back in the day when we were in school, or you used like, well, what's your friend's favorite color? Like, well, what's their favorite thing they like to eat? Like sometimes you might need to go to some of that old school stuff so that you can make sure you really know because we have all of these different devices that we have numbers that are utilized as a person and said to be a friend, but are they really friends? And so yeah, you kind of make sure hey, the hubby kind of texts me, Uncle, we trying to have a surprise birthday or baby shower. Do you know what she like to eat? Do you know what such as like? You ought to know, sis. You ought to
Yes,
know. You ought to be able to help that man out
you ought
because
to
he's
know.
struggling. You ought to know.
Yes, you
Fact,
ought
she
to
should have
know
already
these
told you
things.
what she wanted and planned it on the cool, and you just passed it on to him. Cause that's how me and a couple of us do. We just listen, like, girl, what you want? Cause when he texts, I'm gonna already know what to tell him. So go on and tell me, like, y'all need that. Look it
Yes,
up.
yes.
But
Be
yes, this has
friends.
been
Know
great.
your friend and um, respect. Like it goes back to what you just said. Go back to the old school ways. I tell my single friends this for dating, and I think it should be applied to friendships too. Play the 21 question game, like legit. So when
Why
you
you
start
telling
checking
our
off the
age?
question,
Why you telling our age? Stop that. Stop that. You telling our
I know.
age.
I mean, I'm sorry, but still, it's the truth, though. We can't pass notes and we can't, do all that. But you know, play the 21 question game because how are you supposed to know these answers if you never get the answers? If you never, have a conversation? Because technically, some people value or look at friends and be like, "Hey, we're friends. We've hung out for the past couple weeks, and we're good friends."
They fast
Do you
friends.
know
That's what
anything?
they call it.
Yeah, do
They
you know
fast friends.
anything about this person? Do you know what their favorite color is? Do you know if they have allergies? Do you
Do you
know,
know their mama name?
you know? So I think that should be applied to friendships too, because it's a relationship. I mean, that's the first thing I did with my husband when we first started dating is I played the 21 question games. We were literally texting and I was like, what's your favorite color? What's this? What's your favorite ice cream? I didn't care to really know, but it was nice information to have just in case things went further. So, and now we're married, so there you go. Do you have any last words or thoughts about this topic?
You know, it's so many songs about friendship,
Hmm.
what about your friends? Will they stay around when they let you down? TLC. And it's the old
Yes.
school one. I'm not telling my age, I'm telling my mama age where it would literally go, why can't we be friends? Why can't we be friends? Well, like, and I don't know why, but every time I would hear it, I'd be like, yeah, why? Like, but all jokes aside, as many songs as there are about friendships, the lyrics are true. They're real. And you need to maybe look at some of that and apply that same music to your own life and take this time. Like she said, we're in the middle of this opportunity to be still, to ponder, to evaluate, to adjust, to pivot, and to look at it and see from a cultivated perspective, hey, do I got the right people that need to go with me once I come out of this? Do I, and what does it look like? What is, or has my season with them ended? And so take that time, take that opportunity. And sometimes, this time can also pull your own coattail and show you where you need to level up in your friendship and become a better friend. So whatever the lyrics are that can play in your head, listen to them, play that music, and be the best friend you can be. Because to get a friend, you need to be a friend.
Be friends, exactly. I know one thing that I've been doing during this whole still moments are actually being proactive and texting and, reaching out and be like, hey, are you okay? Even though I don't have tons of money and tons of things to give people or anything like that, but it's nice to know that that person, I mean, for other people, it's nice to know that if I text out and reach out to you, they like that. They like the appreciation that, like, hey, she's checking in on me and she's asking if I need anything. And if I can't give it, I will find some way to get that stuff for you. So just, that's what friendship's all about.
Show up. It's now more
Yeah,
than ever when we need to be checking in on each other. Show up and be as real as you need them to be and as you would want them to be
yeah.
back to you. Thank you, Jennifer.
Well,
Thank you,
you're
Jen. I have
welcome.
enjoyed our convo. I hope you guys have. I hope y'all let us know in the comments and let us know. And if y'all want a part two, let us know. We always
Yes,
here.
and you're my first actual live guest on my YouTube channel. So kudos to you. Thank you so much. And I'm excited for where this channel is going to go. So thank you again so much for coming on here. And I think this was a great starter topic. And, you're such a cool person to have a conversation with. You keep
I
it
think we
real,
cut
you
up
keep it
buddies. I
100.
think we cut up buddies. I think that's the problem. We be cutting up, but we have a good
I
time
know.
and we bring some purpose in it as well. And hopefully we help somebody along the
Yeah.
way.
So, if you guys like this episode, make sure you like and subscribe. Also, comment below what could be better, what could not be better, what you liked about it, what you didn't like. Just throw something in there. Um, and have a wonderful rest of your day, whether that be morning, evening, or afternoon.
Bye, y'all.
Hey, before you go, I just want to say thank you for tuning in today's episode. And also, if you haven't already, like and subscribe, and make sure you comment and leave a rating for the podcast. Have a good one, you guys.